You're listening to the Online Business Blueprint. I'm John Stange, and our podcast is brought to us by platformlaunchers.com. It's so great to have you with us this week because this week we're going to be talking about the ins and the outs of running an online membership. And before we get into that, I just want to invite you to stop by our website, platformlaunchers.com. You can find all sorts of things that'll help you not only with an online membership, but also with other aspects of building and growing and monetizing an online platform. We know that you'll find it highly beneficial, and you can even take a free 2-week test drive of our membership community. Check it out, platformlaunchers.com. But let's jump into our subject for this week, the ins and the outs of running an online membership. I actually had a question come to me related to this from our group. They wanted to know a little bit more about it. And maybe if you're building an online platform, adding a membership is something maybe you've thought about doing. Well, I'm looking forward to sharing some of these ideas because over the years of doing this, and again, I've been doing this now for years. It's crazy how quickly the time goes by, but there's certain things that I've picked up, and I'm going to share 8 things with us over the course of our time together this week that I hope you find particularly helpful. Now, let me create the setting for this. Years ago, when the internet was new, when this was all new to us, and people were still trying to decide if the internet was going to be around for the long haul or if it was really just a fad, which seems comical to think about. I actually, when I think back to that time, I remember saying to my wife, "Should we get the internet? Do you think we would use it?" Now it seems funny to even remember that that was a conversation. But during that era, when the internet seemed relatively new for most of us, I started daydreaming about some of the business concepts that the internet was making possible. And at that point, I would daydream about these things and think about what they could look like and how certain things could be digitally delivered as more and more people started using the internet. But I formulated several ideas and I attempted several different ideas. And each of those ideas were met with various levels of success. Some of the early things I did didn't work out so well. Some things ended up working much better than I anticipated. And what I started to come to believe, and it proved to be true, I believed that it was possible by using the opportunities that the internet makes available to us. I believed that it was possible to make a full time living online. But I also often felt at that early season that there were some important pieces to that puzzle that I still felt like I was missing. And so I kind of explored these things, and it took years of testing various ideas before I landed where I eventually landed. Took a lot of trial and error, but I realized over time that making a living online is really just about identifying the needs of others that you are particularly gifted to serve, and then delivering that service in a way that exceeds expectations. And you're going to see how this has a direct connection to the concept of memberships and the principles that I'm going to give to us in just a moment. But you want to figure out the needs that others have that you're particularly gifted to serve, and then deliver that service in such a way that you exceed expectations. And so, personally speaking, I started to aggressively apply that concept to the work that I was doing online. And as I did that, my income grew. Over time, it started growing. And my level of personal satisfaction with my work also started to grow because the feedback that I was receiving from others was such that they were telling me that I had helped them in some capacity. And as I was doing that, that felt very personally gratifying. It's nice to earn an income, but it's even nicer to know that you're helping people along the way. And when you set out to serve others, it's wise to listen to what they have to say all along the way because they're going to start giving you valuable feedback, and that feedback is going to reveal where they would like you to begin serving them next. And that's what happened to me several years ago in the world of online platform and online business development. People that I had been serving in other ways began to ask me for help with building and growing and monetizing their online platforms. They saw what I was doing with my own platforms, and they asked me for help with theirs. And their feedback is eventually what birthed Platform Launchers, my online platform and membership community. It all came out of the feedback that I was receiving from others. So now, if you've been thinking about doing this, and I've been leading this membership community since 2021, and if you've been thinking about doing something similar in your lane, I just want to share 8 I think, very important concepts that I've learned about what it takes to successfully lead an online membership that's healthy, an online membership that's helpful, an online membership that grows and continues to have opportunities to serve new people. I really think that it can boil down into at least 8 specific things that I think you'll find helpful. So let me just jump right into that list. And I hope one at a time, these will be things that you find particularly useful if you want to develop an online membership or an online membership community. And the first thing on my list is this: identify a clear need that a community can help meet. Identify a clear need that a community can help meet. Now, some needs are particularly well suited to be served by a community. In my case, I was convinced that online platform development was one of those areas. I thought it could be absolutely served well by a community because in a community, we can offer information, we can also offer inspiration, and we could also offer accountability. All three can happen in the context of community. And I'm also convinced that those who take an active role in an online community, they tend to make faster progress than those who don't. That's certainly proven to be the case here in Platform Launchers. Those who get involved in the online community seem to do really well. Those that sometimes take a more distant approach, it takes them longer. They succeed. We're grateful for their success, but it seems to take a little bit longer because they've got the information, but yet they're not exactly experiencing the full taste of inspiration and accountability. So if you can identify in your lane, whatever your lane happens to be, if you can identify a clear need that can be served well by a community, you are well on your way to developing a successful online membership. All right, number 2 on my list is this: establish your competency, your visibility, and your authority in whatever space you're trying to operate in. Now, if people are going to join you in what you've created, they have to have some level of trust that you actually know what you're talking about. If it doesn't seem like you actually know what you're talking about, people aren't going to participate in what you're trying to build. So that's why it's actually important to be competent in what you're attempting to teach. Your track record will demonstrate your competency. In my case, when people saw my track record with what I was building on in my own lane or in regard to my own platforms, that lent credibility to me offering help to other people. So be competent in what you claim to teach. Your track record is going to demonstrate that competency. So think about the things that you've been successful in, and these are things that you're going to be able to highlight for the benefit of others. I also made it a point, though, especially in those early days, but even in an ongoing way, I made a point to become highly visible in the online platform development space. And I did that in a variety of ways. One of the ways that I did that was through writing books on the subject. So if you do a search for online platform development or how to build, grow, and monetize your online platform, things like that, you'll find several books that I've written on the subject. In fact, I've written 3 on the subject, wrote various books on the subject, and shared those things online. That was one way to develop visibility and authority and demonstrate my competency. Another way was through speaking at conferences. So I looked at opportunities that existed for conference speaking opportunities and was given a variety of opportunities in that lane, and I took them. Sometimes you have to apply for these things. Other times people find out about what you do and you get invited to come and speak. But I did that, had the opportunity to be in front of healthy size groups that then start spreading the word of what I'm doing and following up with people after the conferences and all sorts of things. And so that visibility, what it did was it contributed to my authority. And I'm convinced that that authority that I developed directly connects to the income that I'm earning, and I think that the same will be true for you. Authority and income go hand in hand. If you build your visibility, if you demonstrate your competency, if you build your online authority, that will directly connect to the income that you earn from your online platform. But third, when we're talking about building a membership community and the ins and outs of what it takes, one of the things that I often encourage people to do, and I'll have this as 3 on my list because this definitely is a big part of successfully leading something with the ins and the outs. And that's investing in software that makes for a great experience. So before starting Platform Launchers, I led another online community that was primarily geared toward helping other people with their own spiritual growth. I enjoyed that experience. I'm very certain that it was beneficial for our members. It's very much in the lane of what I have the opportunity to do with the faith-based content that I create and my service as a local church pastor. All of those things certainly beneficial, but I grew increasingly frustrated at the time with the software that I was using to run that particular membership. It was hard to use, and I found it confusing when I was trying to make updates to it. Sometimes I'd want to just share one little piece of content, and it took me way more time trying to get that implemented into the website than it actually did in creating the content. So I got very frustrated with it. And I thought, if I ever do anything else in the online membership space, I'm absolutely not using this particular software. The software that you select to run your online membership community should operate like your back office. It should handle the processing of payments. It should handle hosting your website. It should handle selling your products and services. You should be able to offer a video vault of your content. You should be able to host a podcast. You should be able to manage your email list. You should be able to allow your members to easily connect with one another. I know that that's a lot to ask a piece of software to do, but there are multiple options out there that allow that all to happen. And I wanted to utilize something that I enjoyed using and that my members would enjoy using. And so you've heard me mention this brand before, but I had always heard that Kajabi was best for doing those things. And so I thought I'd give it a try. It took me until the year 2021 before I was willing to give it a try, partly because I was a little scared off by how much it cost. But when I thought about all that I was asking it to do, I started to realize it's actually kind of a bargain for all that it does. And I can now confirm, after using Kajabi for multiple years, and I use it to run two distinct platforms at this point, it is by far my favorite tool to use. I actually feel like it's a huge partner in my overall business and ministry approach. It's very easy for my members to navigate, and it's also easy for me to utilize. And if you're listening to the podcast, by the way, I do have an affiliate link for Kajabi. You could find it in the description of this podcast, and it'll give you some extra bonuses and free time if you set up a Kajabi account, or if you just want to try it for free for a month and see if it's right for you. But I'd encourage you, that's number 3 on my list, invest in software that makes for a great experience. You will not regret it. I did not regret it. My members are glad that I've done it, and I would encourage you to consider that if you're thinking about starting an online membership community. But number 4 on my list of 8 is this: lead with a generous spirit. If you're going to lead an online membership community, lead with a generous spirit. So if you're thinking about this, right? If this is something that's on your list, this idea of starting an online membership community, one of the things that I tell people all the time, if you start a community, you have to be prepared to lead actual people. They're not theoretical people, they are real people. And if you aren't comfortable leading others, you're probably not going to enjoy the ins and the outs of running an online membership community. You have to be comfortable leading people. But if you like people, and if you're comfortable leading them, like we just said, you're very likely going to enjoy leading an online community. And when you lead, be sure to lead with a generous spirit. Don't be afraid to exceed member expectations. Find ways to lead with a giving spirit. You can be generous with your time. You could be generous with your resources. You could be generous with your availability. Leading with a generous spirit is going to have a very positive impact on the culture of the community that you're building, and that's huge. The culture you build is something that's going to be something that's a main contributor to the value of what you're creating. But it's also something that shows that you value people. When you're going to serve people, when you're going to lead people, make sure that they know for certain and can tangibly say, yes, this person values me. Lead with generosity. Number 5 on my list is this: on the ins and outs of leading a membership community, you want to celebrate victories and you want to celebrate progress. One of the most enjoyable aspects of leading a membership community is the privilege that you're given to be able to watch your members grow and watch your members succeed as they implement ideas that they learn from being part of your group. Celebrate those victories. And it's so fun. A couple of weeks ago, we had a week inside Platform Launchers where it seemed like everybody had something really big to share, and it was very excited. I left that meeting that week feeling highly edified and so happy for the victories that many of our members had experienced over the course of that past week. Celebrate those victories. When you're leading a community, you want to celebrate those victories and celebrate the progress that people are making. Acknowledge those wins regularly. In our group, we acknowledge the wins every week. We always start off our face-to-face meetings with acknowledging the wins and talking about our goals. I think for me, it's certainly one of my favorite things that we have the opportunity to do. And I think about it like this, especially if you're trying to lead with generosity and you want to celebrate those wins, you want to celebrate progress. A win for one member should really be seen as a win for every member, because when one member succeeds, what they have the opportunity to do is to inspire others through their successes, and that lifts everybody up. So celebrate those victories, celebrate progress. That encourages your members, but it's also a healthy investment in the overall culture of the group. All right, number 6, this is a real practical one. Number 6 that I think we need to keep in mind if we're going to lead an online membership community is this: marketing. Specifically, market this way. Market through your content creation, market through word of mouth, and market through guest appearances. Let me speak to all three. Marketing super important. And for your membership to grow, you need to spend time on marketing. A lot of times people think that a membership is going to grow just by virtue of it existing. And I wish that that happened, because it'd certainly be a lot easier, but that's not how it happens. There are various ways to market what you're doing. But my favorite marketing approach is through content creation. I like creating content. And the beauty of content creation is that once it's released, it doesn't go away. So people can find what you've written and what you've recorded long after it became public. It's essentially, I often describe it as a permanent piece of internet real estate. So when you put a blog post out there, it's there as long as it's being hosted, right? As long as you're supporting it on the internet, it's a permanent piece of internet real estate. A podcast operates the same way. A video operates the same way. So content creation is my favorite form of marketing, but it's not the only form of marketing that I think is beneficial. Word of mouth is also particularly helpful. I think it could be argued that maybe word of mouth is the most effective way to market something, but word of mouth isn't something you can directly control. You could certainly encourage it. Content creation you can control. Word of mouth, you definitely need the help of those that you've served in order to get good word of mouth. But as you serve people well, inevitably they're going to tell others about the work that you do. I would also say it would be wise to make guest appearances on podcasts, on YouTube channels, and by contributing guest blog posts to other online, websites, blogs that are already established. Each of these are going to help you spread word of what you're doing. And you want to leverage the reach of other people's audiences as you try to market what you're doing. So, market through content creation, market through word of mouth, market through guest appearances. That's number 6 on my list. But number 7 on my list is this: offer a series of products and services that are at different price points. Now, when you first start your membership community, you may have just one primary offering. That's what I did when I first started Platform Launchers. I really just offered one thing. I didn't offer courses. I didn't offer coaching. I didn't offer mentorship. All I offered initially was just a membership. That is it. And everything else developed over time. But I want to encourage you, even if you start off with just one thing, over time, start offering additional options. Ideally, you should offer lower priced options that are content only, and then scale the prices up based on how much of your time they may be involved in or how much accessibility you're offering to yourself. Scale them up based on those things, how much time they take and how much accessibility you begin to offer. So my lowest price offer for Platform Launchers is only $7. I offer a 48-hour video pass on the university page of the Platform Launchers website that gives people unlimited access to our video vault for 2 straight days for $7, and they could binge as much content as they want during the course of that time. Very inexpensive, and it's content only. It doesn't demand extra time from me. If somebody purchases that, they just pay $7 and they can access the content immediately, and they're good to go. My highest priced offer is $3,600. Quite a big jump from $7 to $3,600. But as you can imagine, if somebody utilizes the $3,600 offer, that offer comes with a high amount of accessibility. That offer comes with a high amount of individualized attention. It's my mentorship program. Actually, I give people a discount on it if they pay for it all at once, but a lot of times people prefer paying in installments. So if you pay for it in installments, it comes out to $3,600. But again, $7 for the lowest. That involves almost no time from me if someone utilizes the content. 3,600 for what involves the most time and the most accessibility to me. So you can decide where you land on that scale, something high ticket, something lower ticket, things that are in between. But I would encourage you to offer a series of products and services at different price points as you build your online membership community. And then number 8 on my list is this: give yourself some time to build momentum. It's not something that you're going to find that you could do immediately, right? Momentum doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. So you want to remain prayerful, you want to remain patient, but you also want to remain persistent as you build your online community. It takes time to build anything of value. So I would encourage you, don't burden yourself with unrealistic expectations of momentum, and thinking that it's going to build in just one day or just 1 month or even just 1 year. I think sometimes it takes momentum builds gradually, so you'll see that momentum building. But when you really get to that tipping point of momentum, it's going to take a little bit of time. You have to be prayerful. You have to be patient. You have to be persistent. It takes time to build momentum. But if you implement the suggestions that I'm suggesting here in this week's episode, I'm confident you're going to hit that tipping point of momentum soon enough. It's useful to keep these things in mind: prayer, patience, persistence. They are a powerful team when they work together. So let's reiterate the 8 here. Identify a need that a community can help meet. That's number 1 on my list. Number 2, establish your competency, your visibility, and your authority in your particular space. Number 3, invest in software that makes for a great experience. Number 4, lead with a generous spirit. Number 5, celebrate victories and progress all along the way. Number 6, market through content creation, word of mouth, and guest appearances. Number 7, offer a series of products and services at different price points. And number 8, give yourself time to build momentum. I know that that's, oh boy, a lot to try and cover in the course of one podcast episode, and there's certainly more that I could share about details of just the infrastructure of building an online membership and all sorts of things. By the way, one of the least expensive courses I have available at platformlaunchers.com for just $49, you could take your, I have a course designed on basically how to build, grow, and monetize an online platform specifically with a membership community, how to build a membership community. If you want to take that course is available at platformlaunchers.com. It's $49 to take it. But if you implement the different ideas that I just suggested to you here, I'm certain that these are things combined with prayer and patience and persistence that will help you build your membership community, if that's something that you have in your heart to do. Certainly, there's members in our Platform Launchers membership community, the Members Club, that have done this. We're actually going to be interviewing one of our members in just a couple weeks. We're going to be highlighting her membership community very soon and giving you some additional ideas on how to do this. But I hope you'll give it a try. By all means, reach out to me if you are listening to the podcast or watching us on YouTube. You can shoot me an email at john@platformlaunchers.com. That's john@platformlaunchers.com. I'd love to hear from you. But that is it for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's always a fun time to be able to spend this time together with you. We hope you have a wonderful week, and we look forward to catching up with you again right here next time. Take care.